Hello my dear Geminis, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing your 2025 prediction for the year ahead. Watch this if you're Gemini rising, Gemini sun and moon. As always, this is going to be, I'm going to try to give you all the most important information for the year ahead. But if you want your personalized consultation, as we are wrapping up this year, there are still a few spots available. It's not going to be available anymore in 2025. You're welcome to do that as well. Of course, if you appreciate this video also, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. And anyway, you guys, without any further ado, let's get started. Let's take a look what the year 2025 has in store for all my beautiful Geminis. Okay, Geminis, we are starting this year with Mars retrograde in the sign of Leo and Cancer. It's going to be affecting, of course, your second and your third house. This is an important transit because even though Mars is going to be out of retrograde, it's still going to be going through that, transition zone. Essentially, it's going to be fully out of Leo like in June. So this is a big transit. Essentially, the first half of the year, 2025, is characterized by the influence of this transit, by the way it's affecting you. And Mars is going to be in Cancer in your second house all the way until April. Only in April, Mars will re-enter the sign of Leo. So for you, this is all about money, finances, restructuring something with the way you make income, the way you express your talents. Sometimes when Mars in the second house, I personally notice in my own life, I start eating more, start craving spicy foods. So let me know if this is something you're experiencing as well. And of course, when we have this kind of transit, this is where we pay extra attention, of course, to our money. Try not to overspend money during this time if possible. I am preaching this and need to take my own advice. It's hard though. Whenever Mars transits your second house, something that I notice is you can be more impulsive with spending. Because what often happens is there is this something that you just need to spend money on. You can be spending money more impulsively, yes, but there could be also expenses that could come up, or you just need to somehow be a little bit more aggressive in how you approach your resources, how you go after resources, finances, expression of your talents, really, asking for what is it you're worth. Maybe you've been experiencing a situation where you tried to assert a boundary or to, claim a higher self-worth, maybe you have certain services and you are saying, my service is worth more. I'm not going to be sitting here with you for 3 hours and you expect me to pay just a little bit, few pennies, right? Sometimes, for me, I definitely resonate with this as somebody who, works with clients. And I mean, I'm very lucky. Most of my clients are very, very respectful of my boundaries and, everything goes with it. But yes, there are certain people that at times really, try to get away with giving you very little and trying to take everything from you. And this is where you need to be, of course, more selective. If you're in a client-based industry, how you assert your personal boundaries, what you are charging for your services, even the prices that you have could be in a way a boundary, where I'm not going to work for less than this. And people who don't consider me worthy, I'm just not going to, I'm just not going to work with them. It is what it is. We will have to figure something out because, of course, being drained when you're working very hard is one of the worst things. And on top of that, if you are not getting paid what you deserve, what you're worth, it just kind of has this, I think, effect where you start, being more and more drained and start believing in yourself less. And we want to avoid that essentially. And yes, essentially, it's if you want me to sit with you, so to say, for hours and discuss your problems, I don't mind, but you better pay me. I'm not gonna do this for free, for sure. Absolutely not, right? We have to pay our bills. So I think sometimes people, and it's good, I think, again, maybe for some of you, the reason why I'm focusing on that particular story is that for some of you, this is the time for you to actually claim, what you deserve, because people have been trying to get away with giving you very little. And, if you ever feel bad for charging certain amounts of prices or asking for a raise, just ask yourself, are you okay with all this, we have inflation, all these bills that are constantly coming? You are giving, most precious is your time, right? The time you can never get back, money, whatever, you can always figure it out. But you're giving your time, right, to people who you work with. Are you respecting yourself enough to not ask for more? That's the question. So yes, essentially raising prices, raising your standards, asking for more. And of course, when Mars goes into Leo in your third house, this is also about your communication. Social media could be getting more active with that, more active with neighbors, siblings, teammates, all the third house stuff. Now, that's important. Another important transit, of course, for the first 5 to 6 months of 2025 till June, we're still going to be having Jupiter in your sign, Gemini. So Jupiter since May of 2020, when was the ingress, May or June? I forgot for a second. So since the ingress of Jupiter in Gemini, it was between May and June, I forgot the exact date, but since that ingress in 2024, since that ingress in May 2024, it was May 25th, I forgot for a second. I was like, why is it May or June? It's because it's in the end of May, that's why. So yeah, since that ingress of Jupiter in your sign, you know, it's not always like people again make that misconception where they think, oh, everything's just going to be magical. Jupiter is in my sign. Jupiter transits that area of my house. Yes, of course, Jupiter brings you opportunities for expansion, but it's not always in the way you expect. No, I'm not a Gemini, but I have 3 planets in Gemini, in tropical. So, and we're doing tropical here. But you know what I noticed? I really elevated my self-worth since then. Yes, maybe, like I wish there were certain opportunities for finances, especially that would be more, which opportunities were there, not always taking them, but I think what was important is that I really graduated to truly having self-worth that is unshakable. Because I've gone through some tests, and tests that I couldn't pass before, I finally passed them. So yes, for a lot of you, you have really elevated yourself. Yes, and the most beautiful part of this is in 2025, even if you haven't done so yet. Make sure you watch my video, by the way, Full Moon in Gemini, and making a plan for 6 months to make your life great again, so to say. Ironically, Gemini, another famous Gemini, recently won the election, interestingly enough, in the United States of America. But yeah, essentially you have another 6 months. That's the beauty of it. So even if you feel like, oh my God, I haven't made the best of it, you have another 6 months. And we just had the full moon of Gemini that is still illuminating to you, as I'm recording this video, potential opportunities, how to have that glow up, level up of your life. So yes, Jupiter still is going to be there blessing you. Yes, there was a square from Saturn and Pisces, which I'm so over this transit myself, you guys, you don't even know. But I do think that in retrospect, we will be happy that aspect was there. I think looking back at this transits years from now, we will be happy that this time around Saturn square was there. I'll explain to you why. I remember Jupiter in Gemini transit back when it was 12 years ago. I was in college then. Oh boy. I don't think Jupiter was receiving any hard aspects. I think it was receiving more like positive aspects. I think was South Node there too. So it was very like, there was a lot of blessings coming in at that particular time, but at the same time, everything was like all over the place, over the top. I lived in Manhattan at that time, partied like a rock star, had absolutely no idea what I'm even doing, very wasteful with money, very like, it was a party time also in New York City at that time, the golden age, so to say. And, let's just say that this particular Jupiter in Gemini has very different energy with Saturn and Pisces. I am someone who is right now a lot more structured, I guess, as structured as you can be. I feel like, yes, there are certain limitations, but it's almost like it's a good thing that they are there, because it makes me really understand what to do, not to waste, because you can make millions of dollars, technically, but billions, for that matter, and you can waste it all really if you don't have necessary discipline, if you don't have the appreciation. Yes, people say all the time, like I watch videos sometimes who say that, oh yes, money just comes from everywhere. Yeah, it is true, but at the same time, there is something about learning harder lessons, especially because I've been like also investing money and trading money and not always doing it in the wisest way. Should have definitely known better. There's definitely lessons in when you do experience certain scarcity. It makes you understand how to not fuck things up. It makes you like, there is something about this, I guess what I'm trying to say, certain discipline that is needed to not waste away the incredible opportunities that you are being given, opportunities maybe other people don't have. And that's the thing, like you might be lucky all you want to, but if you keep wasting and wasting and wasting, eventually it catches up. So like there's something, I think we can find the good in the Saturn square from Pisces. And of course for you it's about your 10th house, which is about your career. So maybe there was some limitations within career space during this time. Regardless, though, again, Jupiter is in your sign till June. After that, it's going to move to Cancerian, which is your 2nd house. Of course, when Jupiter enters your 2nd house, this is where you are given so many more opportunities to make money now. Make money, in a way that you haven't maybe tried making money before, of course, Jupiter in Cancer will make a separate video for it. But yes, it gives you opportunities for expansion of resources, finances. Maybe you elevated your self-worth at this point. You've fought your battles, to assert personal boundaries when it comes to prices, when it comes to salary or whatever it is. And now you're ready to make more money, in the second half of the year. It's amazing. There is also going to be Mercury retrograde 3 times this year. Again, you're Gemini ruled by Mercury, so it is important, but again, it's not something that I want to focus overly in this video. We'll talk about this more in specific videos for each Mercury retrograde. Okay, moving forward, the last eclipse is going to happen in the sign of Aries in March, in your 11th house of friends, communities, goals that you have for yourself. So I do think that past few years there might have been extreme and intense changes when it comes to your friendships, goals you have for yourself, communities you're a part of. When such eclipses happen, especially it's with Aries North Node eclipses, there is an expansion of your friend group, what you want for yourself. Communities you find yourself in might be exotic. There it might be also very unstable somehow. Maybe you found some friends, lost some friends, and now it's like there could be something unstable happening within your social status. But at the same time, North Node transition through 11th house always makes you more popular somehow, brings you opportunities to make new connections, new friends. And the last eclipse that's going to happen in April is going to be culmination of this energy. Now eclipses are going to move now to your 4th and 10th house. So 10th house is about career, it's about social status, and 4th house is about family, property, your relationship with close people to you, any kind of real estate, even your own, your place of living, the very foundation of your life. So for some of you, the way it could manifest is plain and simple. You could start a new job. There could be significant development within your career, and this will somehow lead to you either moving, because again, South Node in the 4th house could be essentially you like either selling a property or moving away from your current place of living and going maybe somewhere where your job is calling you. So maybe you have an opportunity to travel, go abroad. North Node in the 10th house can sometimes bring you opportunity to maybe even go and live somewhere else. So yes, there will be some kind of change definitely happening on the 4th and 10th axis of your chart, which again is your private life, domestic life, and also your career, your social status. Okay, at the same time, interestingly enough, Saturn and Neptune that was there in your 10th house. Saturn's been in your 10th house since the spring of 2023. Neptune's been in your 10th house since like around 2012. Are also going to be moving away from your 10th house of career, social status, and moving into your 11th house now, where North Node was previously. So for a lot of you, maybe big reward will come, when it comes to career. Again, now you're less focused on fighting so much for, trying to prove your point to a boss or to some kind of superior figure, and you're more focused on your long-term goals. Again, you're going to be very social. There's a lot of social new connections that are coming your way, which you don't necessarily even know these people very well. Maybe they're spiritual, somehow different than you. Ask, Taurus, how they've been doing, because they've been the one who had the transit of Neptune in their 11th house before, since 2012, when Neptune was in Pisces. So ask Taurus, what they've learned from this transit. Now it's you. There's something very interesting, exotic, different that's coming to you in the area of your friends. However, because Saturn is going to be there as well, maybe you will also need to establish some kind of boundaries in place. With Saturn in the 11th house, usually you become much more discriminating. You're like, listen, unless maybe we have our goals that are aligned, unless you live a healthy lifestyle or whatever, I don't see how we can become friends. So both Saturn and Neptune are very different planets. Saturn could be discriminating. It's very structure-like. It's very much about borders and boundaries. And Neptune is literally kind of like the other side of that. Neptune is ocean, right? Ocean has it has a shore, but it doesn't really have. You cannot really tame the ocean. It's unstructured. It dissolves borders, boundaries, and things like this. So it's going to be very interesting ingress and very interesting transit that you're going to be experiencing. Neptune is going to be there all the way into the 2030s. How crazy. And Saturn's going to be there for about 2.5 years. That's its cycle. Now what's interesting, it gets even more interesting, there's also going to be Venus retrograde between your 11th and 12th house, right in the midpoint between the ingress of Neptune and the ingress of Saturn into that area of your life. So again, understanding who your real friends are, what your goals are, what you need to do in life, like a very big focus, lots of expansion with career, with friends, things you want to achieve for yourself. it's a very big year for Geminis and Gemini placements. Gemini rising, of course, first and foremost. And the cherry on top for Geminis is that Uranus, planet of change, transformation, electricity, all this like revolution, is going to be moving in your first house in July. So just when Jupiter is going to be done with your first house in June, right after that Uranus is going to come into your sign. And this is big. This is an extremely big transit. So Gemini, get ready for a wild ride. Uranus was in Taurus since when, 2017-ish, I think, or approximately around that. Now it's going to be in your sign. It's there. It's also like till 30, 34, 33, I think. Essentially, it's like I'm not a Gemini once again, but I am a Taurus with a lot of planets in Gemini. And I've been going through Uranus transit, let's just say. I've definitely felt it. And I have now my, Uranus coming for the rest of my planets. I don't even know. It's like I've been thinking about settling down, but I have no idea, to be honest, what's going to happen here. Not to say, like, by the way, not to say, like, you cannot settle down or start a family, or I actually started my business when Uranus was transiting my sun. Of course, business also, like, crypto, astrology, YouTube, like... it's a Uranian type of business. So buckle up. That is going to be a wild transit. We'll do a separate video for it, of course. But I think what I like about this Uranus transit for you and those of you guys with early placements in Gemini will especially feel it is, of course, Uranus will be trine Pluto in Aquarius. So there is a lot of support for this transit for you to have the necessary transformation you want to have in your life. Definitely buckle up. This is it's going to be legendary. Really, it will be. And because of this Uranus trine Pluto, it's like, this is revolution with technology, with AI. This is you as well, really finding your true mission in the world, because of one of the contributing factors, of course, is this transit. I'm wondering if we're going to have super intelligence in the AI space with this particular transit configuration. I'm hopeful. I try to envision the best for the world, even though sometimes could be hard. So yes, a wild year for a wild Gemini. Again, pay attention to learning opportunities that Jupiter and Gemini is giving you. Some of you feel like, oh, yes, like I haven't been able to really tap into my blessings. Well, first of all, you still have 6 months. Second of all, for a lot of you, it could be educational opportunities right now. You first study something, then monetize it. It's not always like right away you monetize it. I unfortunately also experienced it this year where there's been many things I wanted to invest more in or to expose myself more to, but it's like resources were in some way, one shape or another, a little bit more limited than I wanted to, and it's okay. It's part of it. There is a reason for it if you're experiencing this, because again, there is going to be so much more opportunities. We are only getting started with so many different things, and for you, definitely looking at all these transits, it's definitely seems this way as well. So anyway, Geminis, wild ride ahead. Get ready. Buckle up or not, up to you. Of course, this is very, very general. If you want to know specifically how in your chart these things are being activated or not, because again, some of this could be very specific for you. Some of these activations could be even more specific for you than here in general, more important. Some of them might not touch you yet in 2025. Something else could be overpowering you in your chart. If you want this 2025 consultation as of this moment is still available, you can book it in the description box down below. There's also whatever else, essentially, you can find it in the description box down below. If you enjoyed this video, give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. We are on our way to 100K. We're almost there. Love you all. I'm wishing you the most amazing year 2025. I hope all your dreams come true and all these energies will manifest in the most beautiful way ever. Thank you so much, guys. Happy New Year. I love you all. We'll talk soon. Bye.